Good evening and good day, whatever time it is for you. I'm thankful that you're here. I'm looking forward to spending time with you. I'm so glad you're in here. It looks like, wow, we've got a few likes already. Someone's waiting. Maddie left a comment in here. Awesome, awesome. Maddie says, has anyone seen Tara? Has anyone seen my lady? It's been so long without her. Don't you people realize how that can make a man hurt inside? Maddie, you were early. You were a little bit early. And my mom's got a message for you. I'm going to wait till you're in here to share that with you. So, we are talking about meditation today. I some thoughts to share on meditation. I want to hear what you think about meditation. Very, very curious to hear what y'all's take is on it. I'm curious about if you meditate and why. I'm curious if you don't meditate, why. I have some thoughts to share today on meditation. I want to wait for a few more people to join us before we get started. So if you just joined, welcome, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. Feel free to drop a comment. Let me know who you are. Let me know what you think about meditation, because that is the topic of this show or this live stream. Some people call it a show. Some people call it a live stream. Feel free to let me know which one you prefer. So I'll go ahead and get this conversation started so that we can have hopefully a dialogue on one of my favorite topics in the whole world, meditation. So like I said, if you meditate, I'd like to know why. The reason that I meditate is that it helps me to clear my mind. It's a coping mechanism that I use. I'll be frank, one of the best times for me to personally meditate is when I'm feeling overwhelmed or stressed out or some kind of way about something. Meditation is not always the first thing I think of, but it's usually one of the better things that makes me feel good. It brings me out of whatever kind of funk I'm in or the overwhelm. Come Alive Ministries in the house. Come Alive Ministries. It is so nice to see you. I've been wondering where you are. I'm so glad you're here. Artem in the house. Hey, proudly. Hi there, Matt. I saw her at the Discord meeting Thursday. Where were you? Good question, Artem. Where was Maddie? Why is he not coming to the Discord meetings? Maddie, let me know if you come back. He was a few minutes early today. I'm wondering if he thought that I'd go on at 4 because he left a comment at 4:08 and I come on at 4:15. So he just was a few minutes early. So what do y'all think about meditation? I'm so curious to hear what your relationship is with it. I have a strong relationship with meditation. Personally, I have been meditating for about 15 years. I don't think it's been quite that long. I think it's only been realistically probably like 12 years or 13, something like that. I believe I started meditating in 2011. So however many years ago that is. What is that, 13 years ago? And I started with guided meditations. I need to take a drink of water, y'all. I'm wondering how this topic is going to hit. I think if people meditate, they might be here. Or if you're curious about meditation, maybe that's why you are here. I personally thought this is either going to hit or it's going to miss. And I was hoping to wait for a few more people to roll in. But we're just going to roll with what we've got. And if this ends up being a 30-minute live stream, then that's what it will end up being. Because it's crickets on the meditation topic right now. So I'll share what I have to share. Again, I personally love meditation. It's something I do every single day. And another reason that I do it is to have a stronger connection with my higher power. I'm certainly not suggesting that one has to meditate in order to have a relationship with the higher power, because everyone has their own relationship with their higher power, from my perspective. I think that when I meditate, I am able to hear guidance more clearly and much more loudly. Is loudly a word? I think it is a word. Able to hear it so much more clear than when I don't do it. And something that came to my mind, I was like, all right, well, what happens? Is it super echoey in here? Y'all, I'm in the middle of moving. My place is almost empty. And I hear an echo. I don't know if you hear the echo, but I can certainly hear it. So, like I was saying, uh, when I don't meditate, I can go for like a day or two or three and not notice a difference. Kind of like hydration or like diet came to mind. I was like, yeah, it's the same thing. If I don't drink enough water, then things start to get wonky with my body. The same thing with diet. I can get away with eating nonsense for a day, maybe two. By the third day, I'm starting to feel a little off, if you will. Ben, Bacon is Meat Candy Turner. Hey, Ben, nice to see you. Uh, Ben says, nah, not egoistic, at least for me. Okay, right on. Yes, meditation. If nothing else helps me think, because it gets yeah, meditation. If nothing else helps me think, because it gets the thinking mind engaged. Yes, I agree with this 100%. And personally, like, I'm interested to hear what y'all's technique is for meditation because, like I said, I've been doing it for 13 years now, and my practice has transformed. And actually, I'll tell you exactly how it's transformed. I didn't think even about going over that, but I'm just making a note here. Personally, Ben, when I meditate, I try to clear my mind. I'm focusing on one thing, anything. It could be a tone. I actually have this tone that I really, really enjoy. It's free on Spotify. It's called Tesla's Tone. I'll see if I can link that. I don't know if I can link a Spotify thing, but if I can, I will link that in the description. Tesla's Tone is one of my favorites. I have listened to so many different tones, searching for the right one that works for me. And I'm not saying that this would work for everybody. I just like the particular noise, and it holds a stable tone at a certain frequency, obviously. And I just play it on repeat. I think the recording that I listened to, or the file, is like 5 minutes long. So I just listen to it on repeat and I focus on that one thing. Typically, I use that tone if it's very, very loud and I need to drown out the background noise. If it's quiet and it feels peaceful, then I might just listen for the sound of the refrigerator or the sound of my space heater. Something that I can focus on, lock in on, and just pay attention to only that one thing. That's how I do it. So the thinking for me, Ben, comes after the meditation. Sometimes I think, okay, more than I care to admit, I'm thinking during meditation, truth be told. even though I'm making my best attempt at not thinking about anything, inevitably thoughts do pass through. And I'm reminded to come back to whatever the thing is that I was focusing on for that meditation session. I think also personally, to your point, Ben, that meditation, focusing on one thing and clearing everything else out for a certain period of time. And Ben, how long do you meditate? I'm curious. How long do you all meditate? I want to hear from everybody. I set a timer for 15 minutes. I've been thinking of upping my game to 20 minutes. I know some people meditate for hours at a time. I have meditated for hours at a time. I personally don't find it necessary these days. For me, 15, potentially upping it to 20 minutes is great for me personally. Some people swear by 45-minute sessions or 2-hour sessions. More power to them. I find it manageable to carve out 15, and even I could carve out 20 minutes for meditation. Artem, I don't really meditate. Interesting, Artem. Well, thanks for joining us for this conversation nonetheless. I know there are people from some kind of Zen denomination that say you don't have to avoid thoughts. I like that, but I feel like that's heretical. What is heretical? Heretical? Is it is it heretical or heretical? Because I kind of like heretical better than the other way. And Artem, I think so. This is going to sound. I realize how weird this is going to sound. So I hope you're sitting down. Brace yourself. For me, I don't think that I'm trying to avoid thought. I am attempting to clear my mind, which I could argue are the same. I could also argue they're different. It's impossible to avoid thought. I can't, I've never been able to have a meditation and not have a thought come to mind. And sometimes the thoughts are helpful thoughts, like guidance from my higher power. I would never want to avoid that. So I hear what you're saying, and I think some people do try to avoid thought. I am trying to focus on one thing in an attempt to clear my mind so that I can access my higher power more efficiently and so it can be louder. That's just me personally. Rev Rashim in the house. Hey, Rev Rashim. Nice to see you. I'm looking forward to seeing what your comment is. I see value in the person that you are. How do you bring value to the people that you meet? Well, that's a very nice compliment, Rashim. How do you bring value to the people that you meet? I think it just depends on the person. I think the value that I bring to each person that I meet depends on the person that I'm speaking with. And I wouldn't go as far as to say that I bring value to every person that I speak with, although it's nice to think that that might be the case. You know, sometimes that might just be a smile. Sometimes it might be listening to what they have to say and being patient. I found myself today when I was moving, I found myself having an interaction with a neighbor, and I was just trying to, it's supposed to rain, was in the forecast today, and I was just like trying to get everything done before it started raining. I did the brunt of my moving today. Like the biggest load that I had moved um, was moved today. I did that all today. And I did not want to stop. I did not want to stop. Some people are so chatty at the times where you're like, I don't have time to chat, but it's like I'm moving. So I wanted to stop for a second and be patient. I think in that moment, just my attention, my listening, and they just wanted to tell me about their back and how much pain they were in. And I didn't ask, but they really wanted to share. I think they just needed to talk to somebody about it. And I think I probably brought value to this person just by listening to what he had to say. Now, that being said, I also had to enforce boundaries because I did have things that I needed to get done. I had a lot of things to move today. So I couldn't just stay and chit chat all day. I didn't have to communicate that to the person though. I just was like, well, I hope it feels better sometime soon. And they kept talking and I just had to, you have to just walk away sometimes. That's a good old bar trick I learned when I was bartending back in the day. Sometimes you just got to walk away. And I feel like as in life, like some things you learn and like you don't realize, or me, sometimes I've learned things and I don't realize the impact they're going to have on the rest of my life. But when I was bartending, it was so hard for me to end conversations sometimes. And it still is. I'm not going to try to say like I'm cured or something like that. I still sometimes feel like I need to continue conversations with people even when I'm ready to move on. And I learned as a bartender, which I don't drink anymore, y'all. I'm in recovery. I've almost been clean and sober for 3 years, but I did used to bartend. And sometimes you just got to walk away from conversations. I got work to do. I can't just stay and talk all day. So Rev Rashim, I really appreciate your comment. You're making me do some deep introspection here. Like, do I bring value to every person that I meet, and how might I go about that? I think I bring value to each person in a different way. And I think I don't bring value to every person that I talk with because not everybody likes me, and that's okay with me. That's okay. Does that answer your question, Rev? I feel like I don't know if I did a great job answering that question. Just depends on the person. Around 20 to 25 minutes. I don't time it, says Ben. Right on. So Ben, I'm going to follow your lead. And I think I meditated this morning. So starting tomorrow, I'll up it to 20 minutes and see how that goes. Perhaps. I don't know. I really like 15 minutes though. It's like easy enough that I can do it every day. Do you meditate every single day, Ben? You were right the first time. Okay, so that I think I said, what was it? Hermetical? What was the word? I gotta find Artem's comment. Heretical. Heretical. What does that mean? Okay, Artem told me. Heretical means contrary to traditional beliefs. I think that depends on the person too. All of this depends on the person. Meditation is such a personal practice. That's why I was curious about how you all do it, or if you did it at all, because it's such a personal thing. And I don't think there's any right or wrong way. Like, I know that there's a school of people out there who are trying to avoid thought. And I don't think that's right, and I don't think it's wrong. It's just not how I do it. I like the pronunciation heretical, though. Can we just pronounce it that way from now on? Or maybe I will. Come Alive Ministries. Today is my last day on probation. It's been 5 years since I've had an alcoholic beverage too. Come Alive Ministries. If that ain't perseverance, I don't know what is. And your perseverance here is an absolute strength. And also, I want to give you a trophy. Let's see if I can find the trophy for not only your 5 years, but also the big thing is that this is your last day on probation. I feel like you deserve a trophy. Let's see if I can find the trophy here. There it is. Oh, this one has a smiley face on it. Here you are, Come Alive Ministries gets a trophy with a smiley face on it because that's the cool one, the cool trophy. I'm really proud of you, Come Alive Ministries. That's been a long time coming with that probation thing, and that must be a huge relief. Huge relief. I don't have as much time as you have, but 5 years, that's a huge chunk of change. 5 years, that's a lot of days you've put together there. April 2nd is what, about a month away? A little more than a month away. That's going to be my 3-year birthday. I can't believe it. I cannot believe it. I never would have thought in a million years that I could make it that long without taking a drink or smoking weed. I cannot believe it. I won't believe it until I make it, as a matter of fact. But I digress. We're talking about meditation. And of course, if y'all have things that you want to talk about that aren't meditation related, then I totally support that 100%. This is a safe space. I didn't even introduce myself. I think y'all know my name's Tara. I'm a peer support specialist. I specialize in working with people in recovery from substance misuse and mental health conditions. And I am happy you're here. We are talking about meditation this evening. Oh, also, really quick, if you don't fit the category of those two things, you're welcome here. You're totally welcome here. Everyone's welcome. So yeah, we are talking about meditation this evening. And Artem said, you bring value to people if they are receptive to it. I think that's the case for everyone. I think we can all bring value to each other if what Artem said is relevant to that interaction. I think, though, perception is key here. I agree with you, Artem. If people are receptive, and that includes me sometimes, like I need to remember to be receptive to other people and to remember that everybody has something valuable to share. Sometimes I get so, I'm just going to tell on myself here. Sometimes I get so wrapped up in where I'm going and what I'm doing and trying to, get things done that I forget to just stop and be present with people sometimes. I could get better at that. Today was a good example. I was busy, and I'm not trying to justify, I just think maybe I could have been a little more patient with someone. But then again, I mean, I could stay and chat with somebody all day long. And people would. It wasn't just one person. It was a few people who wanted to chat, and they know that I'm leaving. And so, or at least one of them knows that I'm leaving. I don't know that I told the other person, but I could stay and chat all day. If I don't draw the line and walk away, like I was mentioning earlier, then I'll be stuck there all day. I'm not stuck, but like, you know what I'm saying. Yeah, congrats, Come Alive Ministries. Come Alive Ministries, I'm curious if you want to share with us how you made it to 5 years without a drink. How did you do that? I know how I did 3 years, but how did you do 5 years? Also, how did you make it through probation, man? People don't realize this is Come Alive Ministries. People don't realize whenever someone calls you heretic, it only make heretic. See, it's heretic. So this doesn't make sense. The English language is so weird because the word is heretic, and I know I'm saying that right. I think I am, anyways. But then it's not heretical. In what world does that make sense? I'm just going to say it heretical. So people don't realize whenever someone calls you heretic, it only makes the other person think likewise. Like Jews saying you hate them and you're anti Semitic, it's simply chasing the wind. Hmm. Well, that's an interesting comment. It's funny because I identify the most close. Okay, let's back up. I don't identify with any religion in particular, but um, most close. I most closely resemble a messianic Jewish person. And so, oh, and I just realized I still haven't updated those. I need to do that. Updated the keywords, the blocked words or whatever. I still haven't modified those. So if y'all are if y'all are having comments blocked, then I apologize. Um, just making a note here to remove blocked words. Okay. Thanks for the support. Absolutely. 100%. Come Alive Ministries. That's what we're here for. That's what I'm here for. It's to support people just like you. And you're achieving some really big things right now. Probation is a nightmare. And 5 years sober takes some diligence and persistence. Like I said, sobriety is not for the faint of heart. I think one of the things that I picked up in recovery is that it's not hard to stop. It's hard to stay stopped. And that rings so true. So true. I've been feeling pretty stable and good personally the past 6 weeks or so. No temptations whatsoever to get loaded. But getting to this point has been quite the adventure. I'll be honest. It has not been easy for me. I wish I was one of those people that could say, oh, 3 years, it's been a cakewalk. But there was no cake on my walk. Ben says, hi, Tara, I'm bacon. You like bacon? Yum. Labels. Let's see. I'm a recovering codependent depressive. Really, Ben? Are you serious? I've never heard you say that before. I've never heard you share that. Recovering codependent depressive. Well, I can relate actually to all of that. I've never considered myself in recovery from codependency, although I fit that description. Maybe you wouldn't know it these days, but maybe you can tell. I'm not sure which one it is, but I can absolutely relate to the depressive side of things. I'm happy to report that I've got it under control. Like my treatment right now is really, really changing my life, really, between I mean, there's a lot of things that I'm doing to treat it and to cope. And I feel like I've got a different life than I had a year ago when I started the journey, because I actually didn't start getting help for depression until about a year ago. I thought getting clean and sober would fix everything, but it didn't. Au contraire, I was in rough shape after a couple years of sobriety without addressing the depression and other mental health conditions. So thank God that I spent the time focusing on mental health the past year. It has made a huge difference. And what about you, Ben? How have you been managing your recovery from codependence and depression? What techniques have you used to recover? Come Alive Ministries says, I had a renewal of mind. Okay, so I think this is in response to the question about how did you do it? So I had a renewal of mind. Almost going to prison was actually a blessing. Hindsight is proof. Whew, that's intense. Come Alive Ministries. I have also, well, you don't say that you've never been to prison, but I've never been to jail. I've never been arrested. So obviously I've never been to prison, but I'm lucky. I am blessed truly that I never got locked up. And I'm happy you didn't go to prison, Come Alive Ministries. Thanks for sharing that. I never have considered my recovery to have been a renewal of mind. That's a very interesting way to look at it. Artem, pronouncing it as heretical is heretical to the word heretical. That's a good point. It's pretty ironic. I don't know if irony is the yeah, I think irony is appropriate there. I'm gonna just start saying it heretical from now on. See what how people react. It'll be a interesting experiment. Or Tim, what does codependent depressive mean? We've got all kinds of questions for Ben. Ben says, yes, it's amazing. Sometimes I think I got this. I don't need to worry about it. But then a day like today happens along and bam. Yeah, but just as long as days like today are more and more rare. What happened, Ben? What's going on? Do you want to talk about it? Then Ben says, for me, it took time and I still fail sometimes, that everyone is human and we all have weaknesses, and that I tend to compare my shortcomings with the image others put forth, making some headway. Mm. Ben, you have so much to offer the world. You're into so many different things. I'm thinking of the hypnotism fascination that you have. And I just think that's a really interesting hobby to have, studying hypnotism. I don't know if that's the same as hypnotherapy or if those two things are different. Maybe you can answer that question, Ben, if they're the same or different. I feel like meditation and hypnotism might share some um, might have some parallels. I've never thought of that before. I am making a note of that because I've never had that thought before. And Ben, maybe you can answer that question. Just hammering Ben with question after question. Can you keep up with the questions, Ben? I know you can. And that's true, Ben. Everyone, we're all human and nobody is good at everything. That's so true. I think your statement here, I had to read that comment again, Ben, because your statement here comparing your shortcomings to the image that others put forth, that's profound. I think that's a very insightful comment. I definitely forget that what other people share, it's not always an accurate depiction of who they are. And I'm guilty of this. I mean, I do try when I'm having a rough time on this channel, I do try to put to be honest about it because this is a peer support channel and even though it's difficult for me to share when I'm feeling rough, I think I decided a little while ago that it could add value if I'm not feeling that great to share it. Thank God I've had a string of pretty good days. Although a few weeks ago I had a little rough patch, be honest about that. But I'm feeling pretty decent. I'm also very busy with the move and everything, so that I think helps and ramping up to start a new job and I think all those things are helpful to me. But I hear what you're saying, Ben. I think it's a wonderful thing that you realize that what people put out there isn't necessarily an accurate depiction. And I'm guilty of this over on Instagram. I stopped posting on Instagram for a long time because I did find it um, impossible to keep up this. I mean, I would share challenging things over there sometimes, but I think all too often I would post a beautiful photograph. In the meanwhile, I was like sobbing, as I'm like putting together the post. I had some rough times out there on the road. I had a lot of really good times though, too. So sometimes I wonder if Tara Smiling is actually even a good name for me because I'm not always smiling, but really that's the goal is to get as much joy and satisfaction out of life as I can. And for me, meditation, kind of going back to the topic here for a second, meditation is a way for me to check in with myself, to see what modifications might need to be made, what needs to be processed, what are my next what's my next course of action after the meditation. Usually I can get some direction from the meditation with regards to what my next steps are. That would be the best for me. I find so much value in meditation. I can't imagine my life without it. Ben, codependent. I derive too much of my value on others' opinion of me. I tend to feed destructive people if I don't keep myself in check. I can relate to this too, Ben. I personally have been focused on letting go of destructive people and tendencies that I have in my life. And it's been kind of a rude awakening at points, but not every relationship is a healthy relationship. And I think it's also wonderful that you're so insightful, you're so self-aware. That's something that I aspire to be. I'm working on it. I'm getting better. Self-awareness is really helpful in terms of personal growth. Come Alive Ministries got a link to your Discord. Absolutely. I copied that. Here you go. Come Alive Ministries. It was on my clipboard. Casey in the house. Hey, Casey, nice to see you. So for those of you, and Nasir in the house, love and light, everybody. Welcome back, Nasir and Casey. Always nice to see you. For those of you who have not joined the Discord yet, what are you waiting for? To Come Alive Ministries request, I just dropped a link to the Discord. Now, my friend Rachel just transferred ownership from this Discord to me, and I haven't quite figured out exactly what to do with it. But one thing I know for sure is that there is a rockin' Thursday night meeting. It's a face-to-face meeting that we have. A lot of the people in this chat, or a lot of people that go there also come to this chat, or they come to the Wednesday chats. My neighbor has been coming the past couple of weeks. So Thursday night at at 6 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, we have a face-to-face meeting where I can get to know y'all on a more personal basis. Like, I love seeing your comments. Your comments are fantastic when I live stream. I really, really enjoy that Thursday meeting because I get to have, like I said, face-to-face interaction with you. I get to see your mannerisms. I get to see your facial expressions, and we have fun over there. I was calling it a recovery meeting in the beginning of, like, when it first started. And sometimes we talk about things related to recovery, but sometimes we just talk about what's going on in our lives, ask questions about. Artem is really good about asking questions. And sorry if I just blew your cover, Artem. My bad. Try to respect your privacy, man. Sometimes we ask each other questions about the things that we just shared or offer some thoughts. So it's a really, really fun meeting. It's an hour long on Thursday nights at 6 o'clock. And stay tuned because I've got some ideas about what I'm going to do with the Discord server. I just haven't quite found my stride with it yet. I've never had a Discord server before, so everybody's welcome there. Ben, hypnosis is a state you can find yourself in, either accidental or purposeful. Hypnotherapy is the use of hypnotism to help people. Interesting. I did not know that, Ben. It seems such a straightforward concept. It's like, how could I not know that? And it's hypnosis that you're interested in, right, Ben? Or is it hypnotherapy? Come Alive Ministries. You can't hypnotize me, but I'll play along and fool the hypnotist. I wonder what Ben has to say about that. Can anybody be hypnotized, or are there certain people who cannot be hypnotized? And if there are certain people who cannot be hypnotized, are these people who also can't meditate? Or, like, I just see how there might be some parallels there. Like, if a person is easily hypnotizable, maybe they would have an easier time meditating. It's an interesting thought. I want to look into that. Artem, I thought codependent meant you needed the other person to function, which I think is actually not uncommon and not a bad thing. But I think you mean something a bit different than that, Ben. Artem, you've never heard of? No, you must have heard of it because you thought you knew it. It sounds like you had a different thought about what it means compared to what Ben is saying it means, but I don't think that what you're saying is inaccurate. I think there's just a point where it becomes unhealthy. It's kind of like the way I view it, and I'll be interested to see what Ben thinks about this. The way I view codependency is that it's causing a problem in your life. Like alcohol is not in itself bad, but when somebody can't stop drinking it and it becomes a problem in their life, then they might want to address it. Or like for me, it was drugs and alcohol. For me, marijuana at one point for a short period of time, it was cocaine when I was like 19, way back in the day. But most recently, marijuana and alcohol. And those things aren't in and of themselves bad. And I view codependency to be similar to that. And even meditation, since that's the topic of today, I think there's some level of like if someone's meditating a lot to the point where it's interfering with their life, which I don't know that like who would fit into that category. Monks meditate all day, but they've like given up their lives to do that. But I think meditation could be done in excess if other things in your life are slipping. It could be similar to, in its own way, obviously, similar to any kind of addiction. So the way I see codependence is that when when someone relies on another person to the point where it's interfering with their happiness, their life, their livelihood, causing negative effects, I would call that codependency. Like, I'm going to give up parts of myself in order to appease you. That I think there's some level of like meeting people in the middle, but then there's the point where it becomes unhealthy. And I think that's my understanding of what codependence is. Ben, a lot of hypnosis is just a state, like when you drive home and after you get home, you don't remember driving, right? You can get deep in it, but that's kind of rare. That's called highway hypnosis, isn't it? Nasir, love and light, everyone. Casey, just wanted to say hi. Hi, Casey. I'm glad you said hi. Hope y'all are well. I don't know how long I'll be around as my phone is dying. Hope everyone is well. Miss y'all. Casey, I'm so glad to see you. It's always nice to see you pop in here. And thanks for saying what's up. You're always, like, I think I said this already, but every time I see your name pop up, it makes me excited. Ben says proudly ignorant, which is our term. Yeah, it's a loose term nowadays. Are you talking about heretical or codependency? Because I will be saying it heretical moving forward in perpetuity. Excuse me. That was like a sipper. Thanks for the flowers, Nasir. They're roses. I love roses. Right on. Come Alive Ministries. Welcome to the Discord server. Bear with me. It's like nuts and bolts right now. Like I said, the one thing that is a definite over there is the Thursday, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time face-to-face meeting. I hope to see you there. It would be great to see you over there. Artem, it's totally fine, Tara. I'm very open about my real name. Okay, right. I knew you'd be okay about Artem. It's important that I respect people's privacy. So Thanks, Artem. Nasir says Discord. I was having a conversation with my mom about the Discord name. It's like, it doesn't make any sense, right? Does anybody know how Discord got its name? Because Discord, speaking of definitions of words, Discord doesn't sound like it would be a healthy place for people to come together and have discussions, but I really enjoy it over there. Okay, so before, I can't believe we've almost been going for an hour, but I appreciate you all participating in this conversation. And I want to tell you something that I promised you I would tell you. I was just checking my notes here. So, my practice, just to circle back to meditation here for a few minutes, and then we might start landing the plane here, because the meditation topic, I knew it was going to be a hit or a miss. Not a whole lot of people seem to meditate. Casey, Nasir, do y'all meditate? If so, why? If not, why? Anybody else in here who's listening, welcome in. I'm so glad you're here. We are talking about meditation this evening. And if you're just joining us, do you meditate? If so, why? And if not, why? Also, if you do, what does it look like for you? My practice has transformed over the past 13 years. I can't believe I've been doing it for that long. It's changed a lot, actually, and this is how. When I first started meditating, I did a lot of guided meditations. And if you have ever or never heard of Kelly Howell, I highly recommend her. She is how I started meditating. I used to pay $10 per sound file for her guided meditations back in 2011, I think it was. But now they're free on YouTube and on Spotify. So if you're interested in starting guided meditations but don't know where to start, I highly recommend Kelly Howell. You can get her content for free on Spotify and YouTube. She has a huge collection of guided meditations to choose from. Every topic that I could imagine wanting to focus on, she's got it. So in the beginning, I was listening to a lot of Kelly Howell's guided meditations, and I would just sit and listen. And that was my meditation. I did that for about maybe 5 or 6 years before I started having silent sessions. And there wasn't really a progression. It just, one day I just started sitting in silence and focusing, like I was saying earlier in this stream, focusing on just one thing. And I've been doing that for a long time now. Like I mentioned earlier, for about 15 minutes, I will set a timer, although I'm thinking about jumping it up to 20, just to give myself a little more time to, at the end, shift my focus to what is wanted for that moment, whether it be satisfaction or some emotion that I want to continue to sustain throughout my day. Perhaps it's joy, perhaps it's peace, or whatever it is that I want to focus on that day. That's why I was thinking of upping it to 20 minutes. So actually, even though for the past probably 8 or 9 years, I've been just focusing on one thing, like that Tesla tone, or the sound of my space heater, or the sound of a refrigerator, or the sound of the ocean if I'm outside by the ocean. Although I feel I meditate better at home these days, because I tend to allow myself to get more relaxed and I can truly surrender and like feel safe, not have to feel like I need to be aware of what's going on around me. But you can get ocean waves for free also online. So, anyways, where I'm thinking of going with my practice is keeping the 15-minute focus on one thing, whether it be the Tesla tone or a sound or whatever, and then spending 5 minutes at the end of the after the 15 minutes focusing on an emotion that I want to focus on for the day. STB in the house. David Malton. Hey, welcome in. I'm so glad you're here. I missed some comments here on my rant, so I'm just going to go back and then if you just joined, I will definitely get to your comments as we land the plane here. Unless y'all start going off in the comments again, then we'll get to all of them, but my goal is to get through these comments. Ben says, I plagiarized this in a strict sense. I think what Ben means is that he copied and pasted. In a strict sense, codependency is a dysfunctional relationship where one person winds up being the giver, sacrificing their own needs and well-being for the sake of one who takes. Okay. I didn't know that either, Ben. You're full of interesting information. I didn't know one had to be a giver and one had to be a taker for it to be defined as codependency. I thought you could have two givers be codependent. I guess two takers wouldn't necessarily line up. Nasir, medication or meditation? I've had that same thought before, Nasir. Artem, but if it's healthy to a certain extent, what's the word for the healthy kind of dependency then? At what point does it become unhealthy? That's a good question, Artem. I think this goes back to at least my perspective. Ben might have he probably does have a better answer to your question, being that he's in recovery from it. I thought about going to that Codependence Anonymous group at one point, but then someone was like, I was talking to somebody about it and they were like, you're not codependent. I was like, all right. So at what point does it become unhealthy, Artem? My perspective is that if it's interfering with your life in a negative way, if it's causing pain, if it's causing missed work shifts, or if it's causing some sort of disturbance that's unwelcome, I think that's unhealthy. And if you can't seem to break past that point of it being a problem, because I mean, everybody has problems in relationships. Like, that's human nature. It's a human condition to have things happen that need reconciliation in relationship. When it passes the point of there being an issue and you sacrificing your own needs for someone else, like the giver and the taker, like Ben said, like, it's just like, man, I don't have anything else to give. My cup is empty, and yet I'm still giving instead of filling up my cup. That would be codependence. I've been guilty of that before. I'll be honest. Ben says, heretical to tickle a rabbit. Coochie coochie coo. It's my new favorite word, heretical. Nasir, simulation. What are we simulating, Nasir? Casey said, scared me. I don't want you to be scared, Casey. What scared you? Now I'm pretty far behind in the comments. That happens fast. When I go on my rants, it happens. Thanks for your patience, everyone. I'm thinking, doesn't everyone rely on certain people in their lives? There are people in my life that I would be quite a loss without. And I think that's healthy. I think it's wonderful that you have people that are important in your life. That's great. That's not codependence. I think I'm thinking back to the definition that Ben says he plagiarized. And it's like if you have the giver and the taker, you know, if you've got someone that's only giving and you've got someone that's only taking to the point where the giver's tapped out but still keeps drawing from an empty well to feed the giver, that's codependence. I think what you're talking about, Artem, is healthy attachment, and they're very different. David, guided meditation? Yes, David, guided meditation. If you weren't, I don't know if you were here when I was talking about Kelly Howell. David, you've never heard of Louise Hay, David? Oh my goodness. I love Louise Hay. I actually did a cover of Louise Hay. It was back before I got clean and sober, so it's hard to listen to sometimes because I've done a lot of personal growth and like healing since I made that recording. But if you're interested in hearing what I sounded like before I got clean and sober, I did a cover of Louise Hay affirmation session on SoundCloud, and my name is Tara Smiling over there too. It's actually really beautiful. I hope I can go back. I did it in Big Sur. There's ocean waves and rain on my car's roof. It's absolutely beautiful. Hard for me to listen to though, because I can hear in my voice, particularly at the end, how much pain I was going through at the time. And you'll be able to hear it if you listen to the whole thing. I'm not taking it down though. I'm going to leave it up and hopefully record some new ones here eventually. I've had some requests for guided meditations lately. Nasir, contact with higher self, best way, 100% Nasir. And that's what I was saying in the beginning. That's exactly why I meditate, because I feel that it strengthens my ability to get guidance, to receive guidance from my higher power. Now, that being said, I do not think that one has to meditate to have a relationship with their higher power. I think we have access to that higher power, whatever it is for you at any time. For me, though, when I meditate, I feel more connected. STB, I have tried. Did I say hi to you, STB? I don't know that I did, but if you're still here, welcome in. I'm so glad you're here. I've tried meditation, but I cannot stop my mind from working overtime. I can relate to this too. So much of what y'all are saying tonight, I'm like, oh, that's me too. I just realized I never shut down my Wi-Fi signal. I hope y'all can hear me and clearly and that it's clear. I plugged in my hardwire connection. I see an interesting parallel here to meditation because I plugged in my hardwire connection, but I didn't shut down the Wi-Fi connection. And so I see a connection here because if I meditate and like what STB is saying, if I plug in and meditate, but I don't shut down the other network, then what good is my wired connection? This wired connection is not doing me a lick of good right now because my Wi-Fi is still connected. I never shut it down. And so interesting that would happen on this stream, because what STB is saying is that their mind it's like the monkey mind, they call it. I don't know if y'all have ever heard that, but for me, it's normal to have thoughts go through my mind. It's just, how do I respond? Am I then able to bring myself back to my initial focus, which, like I was saying, for me is usually Tesla's tone or the sound of a waterfall or the sound of my refrigerator or the sound of my space heater, just depending on how I'm feeling that day. It gets easier as TB. That's what I've found is that, and that is why I really liked guided meditations in the beginning, and why I think Kelly Howell is just such a great resource to begin with. Because if someone is talking to you and guiding you through the process, or even the affirmation thing that I recorded a few years ago, I think anything like that, whether it be labeled a guided meditation or affirmations, I think affirmations can be used as a guided meditation. By the way, that's my perspective. And when you listen to somebody else guiding you through the process, then your mind has less of a chance to wander. Does my mind still wander when I do guided meditations? 100%. Is that okay? I think so. I don't think nobody's a perfect meditator. And if they are, I think what they're saying is that when thoughts come through, they become aware of them and then allow them to pass and bring their focus back to what their intention was to focus on. Again, that's my perspective. I don't think there's any right or wrong way. I know what works for me, and that's what I can speak to. I think, though, that there are an infinite number of different strategies of meditation, which is why I was so interested to hear from y'all about how you meditate. And I'm so glad that Ben said he does it for 20 minutes, because now I'm going to tack on 5 minutes, but it's not going to be 20 minutes of the same. It's going to be, like I was saying, 15 minutes the way I've been doing it. And then I'm going to add a component. The timer's going to go off at 15 minutes, and then I'm going to sit there for another 5 minutes and focus on whatever it is that I want to focus on that day. Probably satisfaction tomorrow will be the vibration or the emotion, if you will, that I'll go for tomorrow. Kelly Howell, never heard of her. David, I cannot recommend her enough. And listening is a skill. I agree. And you can get Kelly's stuff for free now. Meditation makes you high, Nasir. Right on. It definitely alters my consciousness. 100%. 100%. I agree. I have to say, I've made myself the higher power. Well, that's an interesting perspective, David, that I have never heard anybody share on this channel, but I'm glad that you did. I love different perspectives. I'm a bit of a free radical who strongly believes you get what you give. David, have you always had that perspective about what you said about making yourself the higher power? And when you say that, I'd be interested to get more information on exactly what it is that you mean. Maybe it's as simple as you finding yourself as the higher power. The way I interpret that is like, I am one with my creator. Like, I am a reflection of my creator. Therefore, I'm no different. You know, I'm interested to hear how more about your perspective there. Come Alive says, sometimes listen to Louise Hay meditation sleep recordings. She passed away, but had a huge platform. Absolutely. And Come Alive, if you're still here, you might enjoy the cover that I did of a Louise Hay meditation. It's over on SoundCloud. My name's Tara Smiling over there. It's got beach waves from Big Sur and rain. Oh, I read that already. Louise Hayes, never heard of her? David Moulton, never heard of Louise Hayes? What? When did she pass away? A few years ago? Last year. Okay. 2023. Rest in peace, Louise. Schoolboy Kai. Hey, Schoolboy. Nice to see you. Says, can I ask you a question not related to the title? 100%, Schoolboy Kai. Sorry this was so long ago. I'm trying to get caught up in the comments. But yeah, please ask me anything you want. And that goes for anybody. Long as the conversation's going, we will keep flying the plane. She was up there in age. Yeah, Louise Hay was an amazing woman. Maddie's back. Okay, guys, don't worry. Now I'm here. Hey, Maddie, nice to see you. Maddie, do you meditate? If so, why? If not, why? And if so, what does it look like for you? Casey prays. I pray too, Casey. I find them to be separate activities for me personally. They're complementary. I find them to be complementary. I've heard it said that prayer is talking to God and meditation is listening. I like that. Ben says, yes, Tara, when it starts being destructive, like, I don't think this person likes me, I suck. That's melodramatic, but yeah. Right. Yeah. The destructive thing, I think, is an important component of codependency because, like what Artem was saying, what Artem was saying about having people in his life that are critical and that if they weren't there anymore, he would be upset about it. I'm paraphrasing, but I agree. We need relationships with people. No man is an island, but there's a line where it becomes destructive. Yeah, exactly, David. If your cup is empty, there's nowhere else to go. Yeah, there. I am definitely guilty of trying to pour out of an empty cup, and it's not good for anybody. It's not good for me. It's not good for the other person because I end up being resentful, or I get angry, or have some sort of emotional outburst, and usually that doesn't go over well with people. Nobody likes to be the subject of an outburst. Yeah, Ben says so dead on, David. Yep. Artem, Ben, I think I've been there at times when I felt like nobody liked me. And I think it's perfectly normal to feel like something must be wrong with you, even if there isn't, when nobody seems to care. I've also felt like nobody liked me before. Thank God I have worked through those emotions. And I hope that I have friends and family now who I can trust to be there for me. Like I've learned a lot about the people who will absolutely show up for me and who will stay by my side through thick and thin in the past recent while for myself. And those relationships are like gold. So if you've got people in your life, like I've got people in mine, and Artem, like you're talking about people in your life who are so important to you, thank your higher power. you know, um, I'm blessed to have the people in my life who I have. David, a cover of Louise Hay. Are you a singer? No. Well, I do like to sing. I sing on this channel from time to time when songs pop in my head, just short little bursts of singing. speaking of outbursts, but what I'm talking about, I did a cover. It's a spoken word cover. Check it out. Let me know what you think. It's on SoundCloud. I'm Tara Smiling over there, and I would like to start recording more things for my SoundCloud. I'm in the middle of moving right now presently, so I haven't posted videos to YouTube in quite some time. I've been doing these lives on Mondays and Wednesdays. Mondays at 4:15 and Wednesdays after Kevin over at Kickin' Addiction, which is usually sometime around 4:30 or 6, sometime in between there. Last week it was earlier than that, but well, actually I went on at 4:15 I think last week. So it's usually sometime around 4:15 on Wednesdays, but it fluctuates on Wednesdays. The point of all that nonsense that I just shared with you was just to say that I am in the process of moving right now. And so I am committed to showing up for these live streams on Mondays and Wednesdays at 4:15, more or less on Wednesdays. And that's pretty much all I can commit to at this point is showing up for the live streams. The videos will start coming back shortly once I get settled into the new place. And I plan on recording some more content for SoundCloud, maybe even putting some guided meditations up on the channel here on YouTube. We'll have to see. David says, I'll give it a listen for sure. David, if you do, I want to hear what you think about it. And if you want more content like that, just let me know because I like to listen to you. Your opinion is so important to me. Like, I want to create things that people enjoy interacting with. So please let me know what you think. And if you would like to hear more of it, I'm interested in knowing about that. Maddie, Tara also covered Metallica's Metal Militia. I don't know what that song is, Maddie. God, how did I was almost caught up and now I'm like really behind already. David, Matt, really? No, I didn't. He's joking, David. Divine Tara. Aw, I love the roses, Nasir. Hardwired Tara, love it. Maddie, Tara also covered Bring Your Daughter to the Slaughter by Iron Maiden. No, I didn't. Scott Lynn. Scott, I was just thinking about you, Scott. Hola, Scott says. Hola, ¿cómo está usted, Scott? And Scott says, allow thoughts to pass. If it's a significant enough thought that it needs to stay with me, then it probably will stay with me. Sometimes I've thought about jotting thoughts down if they're incredibly profound, but I've never actually done that during meditation. Does anybody here jot thoughts down during meditation if they're profound and like really good ideas or thoughts? Because what Scott's saying, a lot of people, we were talking about this earlier, Scott. Some people's goal, Artem made the point, some people's goal with meditation is to have a lack of thought. That's not my goal personally, but I understand how it would be a goal. Maddie, those thoughts need to come to my place. So Maddie, my mom listens to these. She wanted me to pass a message on to you. She said, tell Maddie, this is my mom, okay? She goes, tell Maddie to reel it in. I was like, I can't tell him what to do, right? She thinks that you get a little feisty on here. And I want you to know that I support you and I appreciate your interaction and your feedback. I did want to share my mom's thought with you though and see what you thought about that. Scott says I've neglected meditation for a long time. That happens to me too, Scott. And something I was saying in the beginning, I'll repeat it here, is that if I don't meditate for long periods of time, my life starts to spiral. Like my life is truly better when I meditate, even 15 minutes a day, like I've been doing for the past several years. I can get away with 1 or 2, 3 days a week. I can get away with it, but 1 week normally turns into two. And then I'm like, man, I haven't meditated for a few weeks and I don't feel as good. Kind of like this is the analogy I used earlier, kind of like when I don't hydrate for a few days in a row, I don't drink enough water. Or if I don't eat well, like if I'm just eating garbage for a few days, then I don't feel good. And it's the same with meditation. If I don't do it regularly, I don't feel good. Maddie, my higher power is Bella Hadid. I do not know who that is, Maddie. David Malton, who is your creator? I've been searching lately, I've been sharing this, that I've been searching for a better name to use for God. I would say right now I use the word God for my creator, but I've been growing, like, not discontent's not the right word, because it's like I don't care what call it a tomato, right? Like some of you will get that. Call my higher power whatever you want to call it. It doesn't matter to me what I call it, but I've been searching for a word different than God. It's just that then other people don't really understand what I'm talking about. So for the sake of this conversation, David, because it's a straightforward question, but it's also fairly loaded, in my opinion. And so for the sake of this conversation, I would say that my creator is God. What about you, David? Do you have a higher power? Schoolboy Kai, what name of cologne do you hate the most? Okay, I was waiting for this question to come through, Schoolboy Kai. Hopefully you're still here and I'm not too far behind that you don't get to hear the answer to your question. So what name of cologne do you hate the most? This is a question I've never contemplated before. The name of the cologne. I don't know. I would have to do some research, I think. I can think of certain smells though even though I can't actually remember, like I don't actually know the name of certain colognes that I'm thinking of, but I can smell them right now. Like it's almost like my memory is bringing up the smell. There's certain like ex-boyfriends, for example, that I'm just like, ugh, if I smell that smell, it takes me down a memory lane that I don't care to be traveling down. So, uh, I mean, there's good things about every guy that I've dated, right? Like, not every guy has been all bad, but there's a couple of them where I'm just like, why did I do that? And I would say their colognes would trigger um, a strong negative emotion in me. And those would be the ones I would pick, but I wouldn't be able to tell you what the name of them are. Is that a satisfactory answer, Schoolboy Kai? Scott, pray to me is speaking to my higher power and meditation is listening. Yep, I agree. The cologne that smells awful or gives you a headache, what's the name of it? I wish I knew, Schoolboy Kai. I wish I knew so that I could tell you. I can only remember the people that wore them and kind of what they smelled like, but not the names. Ben prays and meditates. Same. There are many, says David. I think that's with respect to the colognes. Thanks, you put that in a way where maybe I can try to listen now. I don't listen well. The guided meditations, in my opinion, my humble opinion, are a great way to hone in listening skills. Don't beat yourself up. You know, the point is not to be perfect. The point is just to apply yourself. And I mean, the point is whatever you want the point to be. Actually, it's your practice. It's your prayer. It's your practice. Anne Marie Bliss in the house. Hey, Anne Marie, nice to see you. Anne Marie says, hi, everyone. Hi, Tara, and Tara's mom, if you're here. My mom will love to hear you say hello, Anne Marie. She just thinks you're the sweetest thing or person. You're not a thing, you're a person. She thinks you're a really sweet person. Oh my gosh, Tara, I've looked forward to your stream all day and then I'm so late. That's okay, Anne Marie, because there will be a replay. It's been a pretty good conversation here. I was thinking this would be like a 30-minute stream, but we're approaching the hour-and-a-half mark here. And I started landing the plane like 45 minutes ago or something, but here we are. Maddie, Tara, don't worry. Even if nobody else likes you, you always have me. Thanks, Maddie. I think I'm really behind. I need to catch up. I'm not that behind. Okay, Anne Marie, I even was going to write you an email. Wednesday to Monday is a very long time. What were you going to email me about, Anne Marie? You can feel free to email me or just let me know. You know what though? I remembered the other day that someone emailed me and I meant to get back to them and I haven't. So if that was you, I apologize. I really do apologize. I'm going to do my best to get back to the few people that emailed me that I saw them come through and then I was like, I'll get to them. And then I never got to them. So thanks for your patience with me. Maddie, Tara, I can promise you that I will never throw orange juice on your bed. Thank you. Or apple juice. Thank you. Now, grapefruit juice, I cannot necessarily vouch for. So if y'all are not familiar with the orange juice story, I don't even remember what stream it was in that we were talking about it, but I had so I lived in a shelter for a period of time, and this woman at the shelter poured orange juice on my bed, and it was a thing. I'm not going to get into the whole story right now. If you want to hear the whole story, I would refer you to like 2 live streams ago, I think, or 3 live streams ago or something like that. Mario Frias says, great talk. Mario Frias, you are a new face around here, friend. Do you meditate? If so, why? If so, how do you do it? And if not, why? Come Alive Ministries. My wife is going to grab a triple with cheese and fries, both animal style from In-N-Out Burger. Okay, what? A triple? Like what? I didn't even know that was a thing. You just blew my mind. Come Alive Ministries. I thought the double was as far as they went. A triple? The animal style fries sounds clutch right now. It's all sounding really good. I'm probably going to have to get me some In-N-Out sometime soon. It's been too long. Your wife is just my kind of girl. Come Alive Ministries. Does your wife ever do online stuff? Come Alive Ministries? Because I think you had mentioned her before, and I would love to meet her, like for real. If she's ever interested in joining us on the Thursday night Discord meeting, 6:00 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you didn't see the link earlier, I'm going to drop it for you again. If you're just joining, I would love to have your company on the Thursday night Discord meeting. It's at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I call it the face-to-face to meet the face-to-face meeting, but you don't have to have your camera on. If you would rather just be on voice only, we're cool with that. Casey, you go, girl. Sing it. I've always told my girl to feel the beat. Keep feeling the beat, Tara. Can't wait till I figure out how to hear your singing voice. Never quit. Uh, maybe one of the I've been thinking about taking voice lessons for fun, like singing voice lessons. For now, though, the only piece of art that I have to offer is over on SoundCloud. It's under Tara Smiling. My computer does not want to stay put today. The cords are like putting tension on it. I write songs based upon my findings, says David. David, do you publish your music? Do you have a channel somewhere or SoundCloud, or do you go public with your songs? Maddie, Anne Marie, I have you marked down as tardy. Come Alive Ministries. My music is free to listen to on Reverb Nation. I'll share the link in your Discord server. That sounds great. Come Alive Ministries. I will be looking forward to that. Reverb Nation. I've never heard of that. Scott, also, I sent in my peer support application. Good for you, Scott. I am so proud of you. You're making all kinds of progress. Maddie, tell your mom, Tara, tell your mom that I'm only teasing and also introduce me as her new son-in-law. Well, she probably is hearing you right now, Maddie. Mom, how do you feel about that? David, I am the higher power. Okay, right on, David. I hear you. I hear what you're saying, and I respect your perspective. It's a very bold thing for you to say. I think I'm one with my higher power. Is that I feel like it's kind of the same thing, but it's different at the same time. Like I'm one with, but I'm like different, but I'm one. That doesn't even make sense. I realize it doesn't make sense. Casey X. Maddie, Tara, you are my little tomato of love. David, it's me. Okay, David, you go, boy. Get on with your bad self. Matt, pretty much the worst name for a cologne is Rancid Roadkill. That is not the name of a cologne, is it? I don't know what they were thinking. That is not real. Is it? Channel Blue is my favorite. Axe bugs my nose. Oh, Axe. Axe. The cologne, says Casey. Yeah, Axe is, it just depends. Like Axe does things with certain people's bodies, and I think people who wear Axe tend to wear a little too much of it, in my opinion. If they just would reel it in and not use so much of it, it would be like you wouldn't even be able to tell it was Axe. But it's like they go too much. Reel it in. Ben's gonna BRB. I hope you're safe out there, Ben. Schoolboy Kai, who in the chat hates Dior Sauvage because every guy wears it? If I smelled it, I would know. The nose knows, right? I'm really bad with the names of colognes. Say I. I. Steve S in the house. Steve, I've never seen you around here. It is so nice to see you, friend. Steve S says mindfulness meditation, sit up straight and focus on the breath in and out of those, or in and out of nose, reorienting attention to breath when you notice thoughts. Steve S, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts on mindfulness meditation. Sometimes I sit up straight and sometimes I lay down. I will tell on myself about that. I have heard people say that they focus on their breath. I personally have never, well, that's not true. I have focused on my breath before during meditation, but again, personally, my perspective is that I get better results when I just breathe normally. My perspective, and Artem might have a thought to chime in with here. My perspective is that if I'm focusing on my breath, I am entering the territory of breath work, which in my mind is separate from meditation. And although now I kind of see, since I'm commenting on your comment, Steve, that if because I choose to focus on one thing during meditation, usually a noise of some sort, if I was focusing on my breath, then that would be one thing that I could be focusing on. So that's interesting. I'm going to jot your thought down, Steve, and perhaps do some breath work during my meditation one day. Steve, did I say I'm glad you're here? I am glad you're here. Ben. Okay, yeah, and Discord was named that because it sounded cool, apparently, and it was supposed to get people and stopping, because it sounded cool, apparently, and it was supposed to get people and stopping Discord um, in the gaming community. Okay, so I'm gonna read that again. Sorry, Ben. Okay, so Discord was named that because it sounded cool, apparently, and it was supposed to get people and stopping Discord in the game community. Okay. So there was like tension or some sort of like drama in the gaming community. And so they named it Discord as a way to make light of the situation, is what it sounds like. Thank you for answering that question because I've heard that question come up several times and I've never had a good answer for it. All I know is that I like Discord. I like the functionality that it has. I love the face-to-face option that it has. And if you're just joining us, I'm going to post this again. I might post it one more time too. We have a Discord meeting on Thursday nights. It's face-to-face if you want. If you want to be on voice only, you can. It's on Thursday nights at 6:00 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And I am looking forward to seeing you there and getting to know you better. David, I have my own YouTube channel. Okay, David, let me see if uh, I tried this. Whoa, if I click on your name, it actually looks up the definition of your name. See, I knew this. So I just tried clicking on your profile photo to get a link to your channel. And as the host of this meeting, I can't go to your channel. Moderators I know can, because I moderate for Kevin over at Kick and Addiction, and I can look at people's channels. But is the name of your channel David Malton, David? I'm making a note of it because I want to hear your stuff. I mainly do covers. Cool. David Malton covers. Okay, so you answered my question before. David Malton covers. Got it. I will be checking that out. Put a big star next to it. I'm a 48-year-old man. It has taken years. Well, David, I think it's awesome that you have a hobby like that. Good on you. And I hope you keep up the good work, man. It's hard work to, first of all, to have a YouTube channel, the uploading, all of that. Second of all, to put yourself out there with something that you really enjoy is, I think, fantastic. So I hope you keep up the hard work, and I'm looking forward to seeing what you have created. Yeah, the axe shock is real. For real, Ben, you get me. Less is more. I smell like chocolate. I agree, less is more 100%. It's like, if I don't have to get close to you to smell you, why would I wanna get close to you? Wink, wink. Casey, way too much and everyone has their own scent. LOL. Woo, yeah, too much. Exactly, Casey. Yeah, exactly. I personally want to still have access to smelling the natural aroma of people, the natural scent, the pheromones, if you will. Not that I'm going around smelling people's pheromones all day, but if there's the axe shock, like who said that? Ben, I think, said the axe shock. Yeah, the axe shock. If it's interfering with my ability to like smell you, I guess, for lack of a better phrase, then I just don't see what the point is. Come Alive Ministries wears patchouli oil for stink purdy. Patchouli's legit. I like the smell of patchouli. Matt says, I have a song recommendation for Tara. What is it, Matt? Are you going to say? David Malton, is your caps lock button stuck? I think David Malton, Matt, no, why do you ask? I think that's his style. He's rocking his own style. And it helps me see his comments. Ben retracted a comment. What did you say, Ben? Was it a typo or was it something that you did not mean to share? Maddie, that's the name of the Discord server. Territory. That maybe that is what I will name the Discord server, Maddie. I need a name. I haven't changed the name since I acquired the Discord server. It still says Rachel 23s. Rachel's my best friend. She gifted me that server because she wasn't using it and I was using it for the Thursday night meeting. So she gifted it to me and now I don't know what to do with it except for to have that Thursday night meeting. And if you're just joining, welcome. We are kind of winding down here. I can't believe we've almost been going for 2 hours. I did not expect that. If you're just joining and you meditate, let us know why. Let us know how you meditate. And if you don't meditate, then I still want to know why. Why not? Also, maybe you saw the Discord link. I'm going to post it one more time here. You are welcome to join us on Thursday nights at 6 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time at this location that I just dropped in the chat. It's a face-to-face meeting. We get to know each other on a more personal level. We get to see your faces. I get to hear your voices. I love that meeting. And I'm looking forward to seeing you there. Ben, sorry about the Discord thing. I dropped a word. It was supposed to get people talking and supposed to stop Discord in the gaming community. Oh, you dropped a word. Okay. It was like a typo. Okay. That's okay, Ben. You don't have to apologize for that. Supposed to get people talking and supposed to stop Discord in the community. Okay. So they called it out. They called a spade and made it a name. That's interesting. I lost my spot. There it is. David Malton covers. You will see my beautiful face. Looking forward to it, David. David, feel free to join us on Thursdays too. Anne Marie Bliss. David Malton covers. All of Me is set to play next. I want to listen too, Anne Marie. We'll be listening to David together. Tara is glad that we are all here, but me most of all, let's be honest. Maddie, you're so snarky. I have just over 1K subs. David, you've been going at it. That's not easy to do, friend. I'm really, really proud of you. I am nowhere close to that. All of Me. Why not take all of me? That's a song, isn't it? I actually saw him live. What's that guy's name who sings All of Me? I can't remember his name right now. I would know it if I heard it. Matt, no me, says Anne Marie. Anne Marie, I'm most glad to see you. Maddie's got a fan club. Maddie says, Anne Marie, was it Sarah Vaughan who made that one famous? And thanks, Anne Marie. Artem, I don't really think of what I do as breath work. I don't have a term for it. I hold deep breaths in, but only as long as it's comfortable while laying on my back on the floor with, oh no, Mr. McMurka Bastic. Merca Bastic. I hope I said that. Merkaba. No, it's Merkaba. Merkab Bastic. That's what Luke in the house. Hey, Luke, nice to see you. Mr. Merkaba Bastic, I think is the correct pronunciation, but I could be totally wrong. I will get to your comment, Luke, in a second. I got lost in the sauce here. Yeah, Artem. So doesn't really think of what he does as breath work. Doesn't have a term for it. That's totally cool, Artem. Some people study breath work. It's like a fuzzy floating in the air. So Luke says, hey, favorite thing, and I'm late. Luke, I'm so glad you made it. You made it. So since you're just joining, I don't know if you heard me say you must meditate because it's your favorite thing. So the question is, do you meditate? If so, why? And how do you do it? And then the other question was, if not, then why? Curious on your thoughts, Luke. Mr. McMurka. Anne-Marie, I can only think of the John Legend song. That's it. It's John Legend. You got it, Anne-Marie. Maddie calling Merca out. You're tardy, but that's okay. I'm just glad you're here, Luke. Casey, yep, I was going to say pheromones. Exactly. Hashtag, everyone has their own scent. 100%. See what I did there? David Malton, pheromones. Yup. Everybody's going nuts over the pheromones. Mr. McMurkaba. I watch my breath and feel my heart because my reactions were not meeting my standards and I needed to change and found meditation. I love that, Luke, so much. There's so much self-awareness in this chat tonight, and Luke, you have just displayed that also. And I think that's a strength here. You didn't like the way that you were, I was about to say responding, but I think a reaction and a response are different. At least that's what my therapist says. So I love that you didn't like the way that you were reacting and that you found a solution and some solace in meditation. I can relate to that. I think my reactions have been greatly altered and minimized since I started meditating. my perspective has changed quite a bit. Maddie, actually, I think Tara really is going around smelling people's pheromones. That's why her picture is up at the post office. You know what? That's not the only wall I'm on. My sister was telling me about the like wall of shame they have at the place where she works, where if someone comes in and I've never worked retail before, but they have a, a wall of photographs of thieves there. I'm not a thief. I don't steal stuff, so I'm joking. I'm not on the wall like that, but that's what it made me think of. Anne Marie, I guess I thought, oh, I lost the comment. I guess I thought meditation had to be sat cross-legged, humming. If it's just being with your thoughts, I do that while cleaning my fish tanks or journaling, but nothing formal though. Yeah, meditation takes different forms, Anne Marie, and I think I used to do Bikram yoga, and they call that a moving meditation. I think other things can be meditative as well, like you mentioned, journaling. I think a lot of different things can be meditative. Listening to music. Check out the song Wasted Years by Iron Maiden, says Maddie. Sir, yes, sir. I will check that out. Wasted Years by Iron Maiden. I don't know a lot about Iron Maiden. I've heard about them. So I will check it out. David says, thank you, Matt. With all the correctly spelt pheromones, nobody likes to show off. Pheromones are real. It's a real sitch. So if you're just joining, welcome. It's so nice to have your company. My name's Tara. I'm a peer support specialist. I specialize in supporting people in recovery from mental health conditions and substance misuse or conditions. Excuse me. If I could talk, that would be great. We're talking about meditation this evening. And if you meditate, I'm curious, we're all curious. It's been a great conversation. We're curious as to why you meditate and how you do it. Also, if you don't meditate, curious why not? Feel free to share your perspective either way. If there's something else you need to get off your chest that you want support with, you're in the right place. And if you don't fit the criteria of what I described earlier, you're in the right place. Everyone's welcome here, and I'm glad you're here. You took the part that once was my heart. I know the No FX version. I think Luke, Mr. McMurka, is quoting a song, but I'm not sure. Anne-Marie, know me as a family chic, we say. I couldn't stop myself from saying it here. All of me is an old stander from the 30s or 40s, the Pan Alley area. All of me. Is that, okay, so did John Legend do a cover of All of Me, or is it a different All of Me? Casey, David, I'm just going to say thanks again for the different comment. To someone else, thanks for being you. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree, Casey. I love how everybody in here is unique and everybody is welcome here. A decent book about why mindfulness meditation is mindfulness-based interventions for trauma and its consequences by David J. Kennedy, Tracy Simpson from 2020. Interesting. I'm going to take a photograph of that so I don't have to jot the whole thing down. Oops, that's not my camera. Thank you for that, Steve. I appreciate the recommendation. I am going to write down Steve's recommendation, though. See photo, because otherwise I won't remember. And the date is the 26th. How time flies. I usually pride myself on knowing originals. I have failed. Yeah, Anne-Marie, that's what I'm saying. Is it like the John Legend song? Is that a cover? I think David, yeah, I think David is quoting a song as well. Luke, unable to control reactions because unprocessed emotions were too involved, and meditation helped process how to respect myself while acting lovingly. Luke, you and me both. I also get great benefit from meditation in terms of processing information and knowing how to move forward with it. Another very insightful comment, Luke. Scott, I don't make time for myself. Why not, Scott? And if you did, what would that look like? Maddie says, you people need to look up to Artie. He is never tardy. He is never tardy, Artie. Artie is like always on time. Artie is an awesome part of this community, and it's Artem. If y'all know, in the beginning, I could not figure out how to pronounce his name, and so we decided Artie would be a good way to meet in the middle. But we've since worked it out that his name is Artem, and we love you here, Artem. I'm so glad you're here. Maddie wants to know if Anne Marie is Olga back at the Great of Kiev. Anne Marie, the book is favorited on Amazon. Oh, Anne Marie just favorited that book. That sounds like an interesting book. I agree. Maddie, you definitely are a thief of my heart. Maddie, you got to come to the Thursday meeting on Discord. I'm going to drop the link one more time because we're coming up to the end here. And because we are landing the plane here, we're winding down. I want to give y'all an opportunity to share any. Talking is hard for me lately. I want to give y'all an opportunity to share any last thoughts about anything at all. The topic was meditation. So if you've got any final thoughts on meditation, how it's helped you, or how you haven't done it ever, or haven't done it in a while, or if you've got something else you need to get off your chest before we land the plane here, we are starting the process. So speak now or forever hold your peace. Artem, the second part of my comment got auto-deleted for no apparent reason. I was saying I lay on the floor with my arms spread out while holding in deep breaths. So Artem, I'm going to work on that. I blocked too many words, self-admittedly, and some people's comments aren't getting posted. I'll work on it. I think your breath technique, whatever you want to call it, your breath exercises that you do, it's really great self-care. Feels like the optimal way to oxygenate my body. I would say so. I'm I'm right on board with you there, Artem. Anne Marie has an update. Okay, drum roll, please. Anne Marie says, did I mention we asked my dad to get a picture of her passport and visa that he's given her money for? She said no, and she was offended he would ask. Okay, Anne Marie. So you mentioned the last part of that she was offended that you all would ask. You did not tell us that she said no. That is news. And that is mind blowing to me. What do you think about that, Anne Marie? And what does your dad think about that, if I can ask? You know, only obviously like if you feel comfortable sharing that. Uh, that might be stepping outside the boundaries of what he might be comfortable with. So don't share anything that you don't feel comfortable with, Anne Marie. But I'm curious about what you think about her saying no. Artem, I got to get going, guys. It's getting too late for me on Eastern time. I'll have to catch the rest of the stream tomorrow. Artem, we are winding down here, but I hope you have a good night. It was awesome to have you here in the chat as always, and I hope that I see you on Thursday. And I hope you get a good night rest. Anne Marie, that was what my brother said would happen. He said she's not responded in a couple weeks, but I did see her picture on my dad's computer on Thursday. Wow. Aw, that makes me sad for your dad, Anne Marie, but I think it was a fair question to ask. You know, sometimes, and I had a similar experience where I asked a question to someone and maybe even shared a little too much information, and the person fell out of my life, which makes me sad, but everything happens for a reason, right? I'm moving through it pretty well. I've pretty much stabilized since. Luke, it helps get through guilt of relapse. I missed what that was. Oh, probably meditation. Are you talking about meditation, Luke? Because meditation helps me get through everything, regardless of what it is. And that word relapse is a pretty strong word, Luke. I think that word has a connotation with it that's not necessarily conducive to recovery. That's just my perspective. So I would challenge you to think about how much progress you've made and how slipping up doesn't negate all of the work that you've done, all the progress that you've made in your recovery. I'm really proud of you. Again, your self-awareness here is a strength. Anne Marie, so I'm not sure he's given up completely. Yeah, it sounds like he's still got some attachment going on, Anne Marie, which is understandable. With time though, you know, the it'll come out in the wash. You know, things tend to come out in the wash. I never understood that phrase until just right now. Kind of like if you've got a napkin in your pocket and you wash your pants, it comes out in the wash, it ends up all over everything. I never got that phrase before until right now. Scott, it always sounds gross to complain about the things I put on my plate. I overcommit because of my personal value system. I would visualize and write, I think. I think that sounds like a great idea, Scott. And also just I cannot get over the level of self-awareness that I'm seeing come from y'all tonight. It's warming my heart. And you're also acknowledging that you're holding the plate and that you're adding responsibility to the plate, Scott. I think visualization and journaling sound like a fantastic thing to add to your plate so you can figure out how to gain some balance to that plate. Keep us posted, Scott. If you end up doing that, I want to hear how it goes. Yes, Mr. McMurka, we beat ourselves up too much. A lot of us do. I definitely do. Anne-Marie, I was always over commenting and I drove myself into the ground until my body rebelled and gave up work. I think overcommitting. I was always overcommitting and I drove myself into the ground until my body rebelled and gave up working. I'm just getting myself back. Anne-Marie, we're so glad that you are, because your presence here is valued. You're like a celebrity around here. Ben, Anne-Marie, yes, I heard that. Chronic fatigue syndrome is real, sure enough. Sure enough. I find if I'm fatigued, there's usually a reason that's not related to physical activity. It's like emotional a lot of the time with me. Anne-Marie, we've always thought Olga was a scam. My dad will say, I'm sure you're right. He'll just laugh and say, we're probably right. Wow. So it sounds like there's some kind of, he knows, like he's aware, but he doesn't want to believe it. Aw, bless him. That's the most important thing, is that he comes around to realizing, the truth of what's going on. I would love to think that Olga's not a scam, but cough, cough. Sounds like a scam. Casey, I feel at home with y'all. Night, guys. Sleep peacefully. Hope to talk to you soon. Casey, it's, again, so nice to see you. I hope you get some good rest, and I hope you have a good night. Anne-Marie, but he also says he was an attorney and can smell when people are bullessing. However, I've pulled a few over on the man in my younger days. I bet you have, Anne-Marie. When the heart gets involved, though, it's kind of hard to tell what's real and what's not, and what we'll put up with sometimes, and what we think we'll put up with and what we actually put up with aren't always the same thing when the heart's involved, Luke, I agree. I wanted to remove that comment, but knew you'd call me out and I'd say it anyway. I'm glad you kept it, Luke. Maddie, before you land the plane, please make sure the wheels are down this time. You got it, Maddie. You got it. The wheels are coming down. Rachel in the house. Hey, Rachel. Nice to see you, friend. Maddie, oh, I said that. Straight Talker in the house. Hey, Straight Talker. Nice to see you. If you're just coming in, welcome. We are getting ready to land the plane here. We were talking about meditation. So if you want to share your thoughts on meditation, please feel free as we wind down here. We have, the questions were, do you meditate? If so, how do you do it? If not, why? I hope your new job is going well for you. Well, thanks, Straight Talker. I haven't actually started it yet. It's probably not going to be until April or March. Anne Marie says, Ben, I have fibromyalgia. It's a lot of pain, and I'm a human barometer for bad weather. Aw, I didn't believe it was a real disease until I had it. Anne Marie, that stinks. I'm sorry you have that. That must be really challenging to deal with. I have some health stuff going on too, and it's not fun to deal with. Everything I have is benign, but still has to be dealt with, Straight Talker, I'm so sorry I'm so late. I'm adjusting to new meds and new routines. Sometimes I feel like such a baby. Straight Talker, be kind to yourself, please. You're always welcome here, even if you show up late. I'm totally fine with it. The replays are available if you want to get caught up and see what we talked about. It was a lot about meditation. We did veer off topic a little bit this evening, but it was good talk about meditation. Rachel, hey y'all, hope everyone's doing good. Me too. Maddie, that's the oldest scam in the book. It's called The Spanish Prisoner, an imaginary female somewhere. Yeah, I think we all are on the same page with that one, sadly. Ben, Anne Marie, I'm so sorry to hear that. Yeah, my last doctor didn't think it was real either. He told my significant other it was all imagined. You all are sensitive to a lot, EMF and weather. That would be a lot to manage. Anne Marie, I feel like I consume, or whatever I feel like I consume all the time, but I'm needing an outlet clearly. Well, we're definitely here for you, Anne Marie, rooting you on. And if there's anything we can do to support you, I hope you know that this is a safe place for you. And we are so glad that you're here. Rachel has fibromyalgia too. Fun times for sure, huh? Rach, I don't know if I knew that. Sorry, you probably told me that before and I just totally spaced it out. Casey, Anne Marie, for some reason, I'm still here. Casey's still in the house and comments are behind, but please just know you are loved. Yeah, I am behind, but not much. I'm getting caught up here. I want to get caught up before we actually wind down here. We are winding down. But. Maddie, Rachel, I met Tara's mom and she loves me. I don't think that that's true, Maddie. I will ask her. Casey, that's sweet and salty. Now I know who Rachel is. My plan to see you Thursday. Casey, I would love to see you on Thursday. I would love for Rachel to be there on Thursday also. It would be so wonderful to see your faces. Casey, it would be great to see your face. And it's, private, so it won't be public on YouTube. Casey, if you don't, this goes for everybody. If you want to come to the Discord meeting on Thursday, I'm going to post a link one final time. Thursday, 6:00 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. You do not have to put your face on, although I call it the face-to-face meeting. You can be voice only if you like. Scott, I really have to find balance if I'm going to be the best peer support specialist I can be. It makes me nervous that my personal life can come out and I have a real impact on other people in recovery. Yeah, Scott, I don't know if y'all studied this in your peer support specialist training, but real quick here, we learned in my training that the two biggest causes of burnout are lack of self-care and trying to fix people. Lack of self-care and trying to fix people. So you're absolutely spot on. If you don't want to burn out, then self-care needs to be a number one priority. Or at least for me, as a peer support specialist, I'm not trying to tell you what to do or give you advice by any means. But what I meant to say was that as a peer support specialist, I have to focus on my well-being and taking care of myself before I can help anybody else. Fill up my cup so I can drink, or so I can give other people a drink, Anne Marie is asking about Rachel, her experience. Does yours feel like the flu, body aches, but there's mental issues and blah, blah, blah? I have literally been saved by weed, but I don't want to bring it up and be insensitive. Oh, Anne Marie, it doesn't bother me at all. I've got several people in my life who use marijuana medicinally, and they're respectful of my boundaries and what I am willing to engage in and not willing to engage in. They're respectful about not doing it around me. You're totally fine to talk about whatever it is that you want here. Sounds like marijuana helps you with your fibromyalgia, your pain that you experience, which you have my full support. chief away and think of me while you do it. I mean, I hope that doesn't sound weird, but you have my total support, Anne Marie. Rach says, "Oh, that's awesome, Matt." But she talking about my mom. She loves me more. Well, she knows more about Rachel. Yes, with music. I think you're talking about meditation. That's nice. Music for meditation. Kelly Howell does meditation music as well. Yes, Anne Marie, I feel sick all the time. It sucks, and I don't know, and I don't do well with cold or rain. You? Anne Marie, I've been very lucky with my doctor. He's the absolute best and has tried everything I ask for. Oh, I'm so glad that you have a good doctor, Anne Marie. You deserve it. Anne Marie and Rachel are relating with their fibromyalgia. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get caught up. Y'all are going off, and my voice is getting pretty weak here. Straight Talker needs the beach. I'm gonna hit on the I'm gonna hit on some of the comments, but I cannot get to all of them. My voice is not gonna make it. Aw, Casey's offering Straight Talker some support. I love seeing that. Meds are not a joke, and you're not a baby. You got this. Ben, fibro is not a joke. Sorry, said I was leaving. LOL. Well, Casey, we're glad that you're here. You're welcome here anytime, friend. Aw, Casey, thanks, sweetheart. Casey is a sweetheart, and so is Anne Marie, and so is Rachel. Everyone that's in here right now, it is just an absolute pleasure to have you in here. For those of you who are in pain, I'm so sorry. I really hope that you find some solutions soon. I wish that I could offer better support than just hope for you. I don't have the answer though, but I'm glad that you're here and that you feel safe sharing what you're going through here. That means a lot to me. Yeah, Anne Marie says thank you, Rachel. Rachel's offering support with respect to the fibromyalgia, and she says thank you. Anne Marie says thank you, Rachel. I don't know anyone else personally. Thank you, Casey. I'm glad you found us. Yeah, I'm so psyched that you're all here. It seriously like warms my heart. I have goosebumps just thinking about coming together and enjoying each other's company for this few hours. It's priceless to me. Oh, Rachel says, Casey, I definitely plan on being there. Glad you're here, by the way. Right on. I would love, 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 love if that happened. Rach says, her dad has fibromyalgia too, to Anne Marie. I think it has really messed me up with all of my bupe journey because I always feel achy. So it's hard to tell what my body needs. And Straight Talker needs the beach really soon. It's waiting for you, Straight Talker. Rachel needs the beach too. I said I wasn't going to read every comment, and now I'm reading every comment. Scott, I hear you. You can talk directly to me as a peer and as myself as a person. appreciate direct perspectives. I didn't realize how nervous and stressed I was about the test until it was over. Well, Scott, I'm happy that you passed it. That's really great news. Self-admittedly, I passed my peer support specialist training test, but I have not taken the Medicaid test yet. I need to schedule it and hopefully take it in March because I only have until August to take it. I've been putting it off. Well, I was on scholarship, so I had 3 months that I had to wait until I could actually schedule the test. And now it's been 3 months and I haven't scheduled the test. So you're a step ahead of me, Scott. Casey, Rachel, I will be there Thursday. Please remind me of this topic, bupe and fibro or whatever, but more bupe. I have so much to say now. Go figure, but would feel comfortable talking to you guys. Casey, it would be an honor to have your company. It's Thursday on Discord at that link I dropped. I'll drop it again just in case you need it. And it's at 6:00 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Night, Casey. Sleep well, friend. Ooh, Anne-Marie's going to the beach in North Carolina. I do not know Charlotte, Anne-Marie, but maybe someone else does. Queen Herbie Chakras is a listen for everybody if you like, says Luke. I think you recommended that last time, or you recommended some Queen Herbie song that I self-admittedly have not listened to yet, but I made a note of it. I'll make a note of this one too. Come Alive Ministries, when you listen to my EP on Reverb Nation, put your ears up and light a candle with the lights off. You'll step into my mind. I'll share the link in Discord. Looking forward to that. Come Alive. Luke hit the swimming hole yesterday and it wasn't too cold. Okay, y'all, my voice is just about shot. I'm not going to shut down the chat. If y'all want to continue to chat for a little while on YouTube, it'll be open for you to do that. Discord is always open for you to do that. So if you haven't joined yet, please feel free to click on the link that I shared. That will take you right there. Let me see if what else. What did I miss? I might have missed some stuff. My voice is just hurting right now. Oh, Scott talking about the test. He was disappointed it wasn't more of a challenge. Feels a little dangerous. Interesting, Scott. Half of it was common sense. Anybody could pass it with some research. Well, I hope that I pass it. I've been told I'll be fine, but you never know until you go, you know? Swimming hole, says Maddie. What is this, 1925? I love how y'all are supporting each other right now with respect to what you've gone through medically. Again, I have to land the plane. My voice is shot, but it has been an absolute pleasure speaking with you all as always. Like I said, I won't shut this down in case y'all want to keep chatting. Feel free to go over to Discord and continue the conversation. I love you all very, very much and hope to see you on Thursday in the Discord meeting at 6:00 Pacific Standard Time. And I hope to talk to you soon. Oh, one more thing. Thank you to everybody who showed up tonight and shared about meditation. It was enlightening to me. I really enjoyed all y'all's perspectives on meditation. or, I enjoyed listening to you talk about how you don't do it. Thanks for sharing. And thanks for sharing everything here. Everyone who's here, I just value you so much. You're so welcome here. I'm so glad you're here. And I hope to talk with you soon.